About the Israelites. So let's talk about it. The Israelite movement is not a movement based upon the skin color, as many people erroneously say. In fact, it's...
Wait, I gotta stop.
I'm so glad. I wanted to stop as soon as he said that. I said, I'm gonna be honest.
You lying, bro.
That's a lie.
You lying. You lying.
Such a lie. Your whole doctrine is based upon skin color. The whole... This is such for my people who are sitting there going, well, Dre, Jim, why is this? What is he? Are you saying what he's saying? Absolutely yes. Why? Because their whole doctrine is centered on the white man.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. And not only that, Dre, here's my biggest problem. That's a good point. Here's another point. Why, if that's the case, OC, if that's the case, official OC, why do you continually go to the scriptures to prove that black people are in the Bible? Why do you continue try to prove that Jesus was black, that the Israelites were black? If what you just said is true, why do you keep doing that? That's why I said this is a lie. That's
a lie. Every time you guys open up the Bible, you're trying to prove that the Israelites were a certain color.
Exactly. You know, so that I'm miss me with that, bro.
Yeah. Not about skin color at all.
But Jim, hold on, man. But Jim, this is the problem, though, and this is why politics is so important. People who are unaware of IUIC will hear that, and they're thinking, "Oh, I've heard that they're racist, but he's saying they're not." And I'm like, no, this is why you have to study who you're talking to. Everything they do is about skin tone. It's about skin color. From the moment of their conception, it's always been about skin color. Never been about anything else.
Yes, that's right. Is the skin color is the engine that makes them run. Period.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH Hashem, Yahawashi Hashem, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the mighty Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you another lesson. Shalom. Actually, this is a better time to point this out, but shalom to the speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. So, today's lesson is going to be on this, where they're saying they are, even though an Israelite, an actual Israelite that actually you would think know their doctrine, even though they said, this is not about skin color. We don't care about skin color. All right. These two Jakes are still taking that and saying, oh, it is about skin color with you guys. You guys care about skin color. You guys care about this, that, and the third, whatever. Even though he literally said it was not about skin color. Hence, this is a very funny thing to me, because wouldn't logic dictate that the person that's actually involved with said doctrine would know about their own doctrine, or would tell you that, hey, this is what's going on, whatnot? All right, if we're saying that it does, your appearance does not matter, we are going to accept you regardless of what you look like. All right, then you get someone that's just blatantly saying, oh no, you guys don't do that, or basically they're telling us how we follow. They're telling us what we believe, rather than us being able to defend ourselves or say what we believe in. All right, so that was something that I just thought, like, this is just such a ridiculous thing, and rather than actually listen to what he said, they just interrupted it and went on that whole tirade, talking about something that was just not true. All right, so let's lock in. So basically, the thing about this whole skin color thing, again, as the guy said it, the IUIC guy said it, as a guy in IUIC, I'm not going to say brother, but I'm just saying the guy in IUIC said it. I also am saying it as well because skin color does not matter. Your appearance does not matter. Your appearance does not make you an Israelite. The reason why we say this is because very clearly, Blake Griffin is a perfect example of this. And even his son, let's get his son. I constantly go back to this because this is one of the best examples. Look at his blonde hair. I don't know if it's blue eye, but probably black eyes. But blonde haired kid that looks like a complete Edomite, and his wife is blonde hair, has blonde hair. All right. So does this mean that these two, both Blake Griffin and his son, are Edomites? No, they are. They're Israelites simply because of what the ethnicity of the father is. Let's actually get that. Numbers chapter 1 verse 18. And they assembled all their congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. Your pedigree is determined by the house of your father. Basically, your pedigree is determined by what your father is. If your father is an Israelite, then that means that you are an Israelite. Okay, so Slakia. So if your father is an Israelite, then that means that you are an Israelite, and it doesn't matter what you look like. And I constantly have went in Slakia. I've constantly gone into this and shown and demonstrated it different examples where you could look like a so-called Chinese person, and that's another thing. Actually, let's actually get that. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 3, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy power hath scattered thee. Basically, after the Lord scattered us, what do you think happened to the men, all right, that were in different nations? Okay, they had kids and stuff like that. What did those men do while they were in those different nations? Okay, they had kids, they got married, they whatever, and then their kids came out looking half, and then that kid that looks lighter skin than the father, then the kid that looks lighter skin than the father goes and gets with another complete full ethnic whatever country. Let's just say China, for example. If you have a so-called black, let's say I go living in China 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. Okay, I have a kid with a Chinese woman, a full 100% Chinese woman. Our kid comes out looking like Chinese and black. But he's lighter than me. All right, and then that kid gets with a completely different Chinese woman and has a kid with her, that boy. All right, then the kid is going to look lighter than him, and so on and so forth until the descendant is going to look like a complete Chinese person. All right, that does not mean that kid is now Chinese because the blackness, quote unquote blackness, or more specifically the Israelite genetics is gone completely. Your appearance does not determine, and I've said this so many times, your appearance does not determine if you are an Israelite or not. It is your father's bloodline. So as a result of the father, me in the example that I given, okay, if my descendant is always boys, and it always gets with another Chinese girl, whatever, then doesn't matter if that kid looks dark as hell or Chinese is the most Chinese person in the world, all right, then that kid is still going to be an Israelite regardless of what his appearance is. So again, and it doesn't make any sense that we literally say appearance does not matter, but yet people are lying and saying all this stuff. That our appearance does not determine whether or not we are Israelites or not. It is the bloodline that determines this is an Israelite, this person is not an Israelite, and whatnot, and so on and so forth. All right, so Slakia. So as a result of that, this whole ethnicity thing, this whole we are doing some ethnic crap and stuff like that, or this is appearance based. That's just gone out of the window. All right. Now, let's see. I'll close this out. I want to see. Did they say anything else?
Why do you keep doing that? That's why I said this is a lie.
Oh yeah. Okay, now I remember. So basically, what they were saying was with the whole the doctrine is based off of, or it's like, why do we keep on trying to prove that there are so-called black people in the Bible? Or why do we keep on trying to prove that Yahawashi was a so-called black man? Why do we keep on trying to prove X, Y, and Z? Well, that's because this information is number one, imperative. If it was not important, why did they change? Why did they lie and do all that crap in the first place if it wasn't important? All right, if it wasn't important, then why was it changed? Why did they manipulate the appearance? But when we bring up appearance, when we bring up ethnicity and all that stuff, okay, now we're in the wrong. But let someone make images of make images of biblical men, all right, and let those images be a white man, and okay, well, that's fine. It's all right, you know. Oh, it's fine, and whatever, making 1,000 different excuses as to why that is okay. But whenever we say objectively that he was a so-called white man, okay, well, no, he was a green man, he was olive, he was this, he was that, or whatever, all the different excuses come out. But when we talk about it, then okay, well, now we're being racist, or we're doing this, we're doing that. All right, it's a ridiculous. Bear with me one moment. All right, Slakia. Basically, it's ridiculous to have that type of double standard where it can be things can be, well, what's it called, can be white, but it can't be black. All right. So as a result of that, number one, proving that he was so-called black man. Let's actually get that quickly. Revelation. Oh, Slakia, hold on. Let me actually also get this. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 2. Slakia. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 2. Thus speaketh the Lord power of Israel, saying, write thee all the words I have spoken up onto thee in a book. All right. So the words that if it wasn't important, the Lord wouldn't have put it in the scripture. The Lord put it in the scripture for us to know, for us to be able to have that information. So what the fuck? Slakia. So to completely dismiss the information that we've been given, that's just completely that's a complete dishonest mindset to have, where rather than favoring truth and facts, you want to go and favor what is a lie. Like you're choosing the lie over what's a literal fact. The facts is just that Yahawashi was a so-called black man. Now, Revelation chapter 1, verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Basically, his head hairs were white like wool, like his beard and stuff like that. And as a matter of fact, let me also get a precept to that. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 31, the hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. Basically, if you get gray hair, not through old age, but through, an increase in wisdom, that's where you're going to that's what is a righteous thing, because you gain wisdom from all that stuff. And Yahawashi, he had a, and that's actually another thing where these Edomite images, they're putting Yahawashi's hair as just a brown thing, when the scriptures didn't say he had brown hair or whatever the fuck it was. I don't remember, but basically, yeah, there was that. And then over here, verse 15, and his eyes being red were from drinking wine. Now verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. All right, so Yahawashi, his feet, it said his feet was like fine brass, and then on top of being brass, it was burning a furnace. No Edomite skin looks like that. Looks like brass. All right, brass is brown. Google that for yourself. Anyway, yeah. So this is why it's important. It was written in the book. It was told to us. So for you to just completely dismiss, oh yeah, and there was also the whole leprosy thing, but I'm not going to get that. But basically, yeah, you have access to that information, but yet people want to completely dismiss these facts. All right. So something to take note of. All right. Let's go continue on. John 4:22, ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. And this is really the bigger thing, where this is really the bigger thing, because when it comes to what we believe in, faith and all that, your faith, our faith is in Yahawadah, where with Yahawadah, we know what was taught, we know all this stuff, we actually read the scriptures, whereas it's definitely not, again, I have to say this again, it's definitely not about no skin color, it's definitely not about appearances, okay, which this is, as he said, okay, and that's the crazy thing about this. Let me just let the video play.
So let's talk about it. The Israelite movement is not a movement based upon the skin color, as many people erroneously say.
He literally says it. He says that it's not about skin color, but yet you have these two clowns, all right, that are saying, oh, yes, it is, yes, it is, yes, it is. No, all right. And it's funny. It's so funny that you have these Christians who have the audacity to criticize what criticize that we're actually reading the scriptures when for years and years and years, all right, Christians ain't never read the Bible properly. They've never done that. And it's only now when people want to talk about stuff, it's only now when, Israelites are, showing all these different things that these Christians have never heard of, never knew about, and whatnot. All right, generally, not completely, but generally, when if the shoe fits and stuff like that. Basically, the main thing is just how they don't know about the scriptures. They they don't know about the scriptures. They speak on certain things, but then it's just like, well, you're demonstrating that you actually don't have any proper understanding of what the scriptures say. All right. Hence why it's just like, okay, well, they're talking about a certain thing, but it's like, okay, well, we see that their doctrine is still based off of like a lack of understanding and not fully understanding. Like they were literally saying, this is why you have to study and stuff like that. Well, did you study what the scriptures say? Did you study what Israelites believe in general? Did you study even your own Bible to know that you are completely in the wrong? All right, like this is the thing. Like on top of that, look, hold on, let me get this. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 21. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Where's your proof? How are you're literally just talking. All right, you're literally just talking from a perspective where you clearly don't know what you're talking about. You barely know anything about the stuff. All right, how is it that we are proving? Because that's the thing, Slocky. Again, I keep on. I'm kind of circling back, but it's just like when it comes to us believing or not, the concept of Esau being the white man, the so-called white man, or Esau being the devil, whatever, stuff like that, whatever he said, that does not determine if we are Israelites or not, because that is a part. It's a part of it, but it's not the main thing. All right. What I mean by that is basically Esau. Regardless of if Esau is the devil or not, that doesn't matter to us because we're still going to be the Israelites. The thing that does matter is the fact that we are in fact the Israelites, and how that influences our decisions and stuff like that, or how that influences our lives. It's just like, okay, well, we are watching what happened to us. We are looking at all the things and how the scriptures tie into us. Let's get that in Deuteronomy chapter 28. I think it's verse 40 something, 45. All right, so here, Deuteronomy 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee, Slakia. Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So, number one, the first thing about it is, the thing that determines that we are Israelites is bloodline. That's the very first thing. Number two, let me get that as well. Let me get that. It is, let me just get it over here. It's is it genealogy? Bear with me, Slakia. Where is it? What was the scripture set? What does the scripture say? It was contentious and but it was in Romans. Fuck, I can't remember. It was avoid contentious and vain gene. Okay, so Titus chapter 3 verse 9, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. Let me also get, now this reminded me of the one in Romans, I think. It was, for the Spirit. So Romans chapter 8 verse 14. For as many as are led by the Spirit of Yahweh, they are the sons of Yahweh. For we have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but we have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of Yahweh. Basically, it is through our combined captivity, through our combined what's it called, oppression, being oppressed, all right, that is what determines that we are Israelites or not because because basically they were incapable of proving through genealogies like your papers and stuff like that says this on the third, and this also ties into the whole your appearance does not matter, because there were, as I said before in Deuteronomy 30 verse 3, it says that Israelites would be scattered across all nations. So going back to the example that I said, like if 1,000 years ago I had gotten with a Chinese woman, and then I kept on having I had a son, and that son had a son, and then so on and so forth, where we were living, my family line kept on living in China, and we never moved, and my family never moved. We just stayed in China. All right. My descendant will look like a so-called Chinese man, Chinese woman, Chinese people. All right. But at the end of the day, through the spirit of basically like them hearing the truth, or them being told, say, you're an Israelite in this, and the third, and then that actually resonating with them, then they would feel like, oh, you know what, you're right, I do feel like that this resonates with my spirit, X, Y, and Z and whatnot. I'm going to follow after YAHAWASHI or whatever, and then that would be what, helps, guides them back into the love of YAHAWASHI, and not let's keep on, let's test your blood, let's test this, that, and third, and whatnot, when that's not what is needed. That's not how the Lord's going to wake his people up. The Lord's going to wake his people up through the Spirit, not, and even as let me actually go back one verse up in verse 13. For if we live but after the flesh, ye shall die, but if we through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. This is what this is how we're supposed to live. We're supposed to live through the Spirit. Try the Spirit. Don't be trying the flesh. All right. But yeah, that's it. It's still quote unquote fleshly in the sense, quote unquote. And when I say fleshly, I mean in the sense of like our flesh still goes back into Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then the 12 tribes. All right. So that is what determines that we are Israelites. Through the flesh, technically yes, but our flesh resonates or our spirit resonates. Our spirit dictates that, okay, yeah, this is a thing. And even then, there are Israelites. I think there are Israelites. I haven't seen one in recent times, but I'm pretty sure there are Israelites that look like the other nations, but they just don't follow. That look like the other nations, but and actually follow. Like I think there's an Edomite looking brother. All right, that's actually in this. That's actually in GMS or in I think it was maybe Sakari or another camp. Some camp had I think an Edomite looking person. But yeah, like that's basically the thing. And then on top of that, so-called Hispanics are famously known for not looking dark skinned. So skin color is definitely not a factor. And it's like people, I didn't even bring that up this entire time because I forgot about that. But the whole thing is that even for them to say that it's a skin color thing when Hispanics, a lot of Hispanics don't even look like so-called brown skin or whatever. They look more white skinned and stuff like that. That's just a ridiculous thing to just to conclude. All right. So, where is it? Let me continue on. Oh yeah, here. 2 John chapter 1 verse 7, for many deceivers are entered into the world who confess not that Yahawashi HaMashiach is come in the flesh. This is a deceiver and an antichrist. And basically an antichrist is someone that is speaking out against Yahawashi. All right. Where is it? I want to get, hold on. It was Isaiah. I think it was Isaiah. Yeah, Isaiah 8 and verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So if you're going to speak out against Yahawashi, then that's when like you are an antichrist, because that's not what Yahawashi said. Let me also get speak not. Wait, it's not speak not. It's it was brother. Matthew 12 verse 50, for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. All right. So whoever is doing the will of Yahweh Yahawashi, and the will of Yahweh Yahawashi is to, declare, prophesy against nations. All right. Do the work that like Yahawashi did, as well as copy what he did as well. All right. You're not doing anything. You're just telling people, oh, it's fine. Do whatever you want. Love, all this stuff, X, Y, and Z, and whatnot. Don't have any semblance of discipline. All right. Oh, it doesn't matter because, grace is going to cover you for all the wickedness that you perpetuate. All right. As well as you permit. All right. You're not telling anyone to do right. You're just telling them, oh, you can do whatever you want, it's fine. Oh, the blood of Jesus got you. All right. And that's not what Yahawashi said. Matthew, actually, let's get that. Matthew 5 verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law, till all be fulfilled. Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So you're teaching people to go against what Yahawashi told people. All right. So you're against Yahawashi. What's it called? 1 John 2 verse 18. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come, even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. 1 John 2 and 22. Who is a liar but he that denieth that Yahawashi is the Hamashiach. He is Antichrist that denied the Father and the Son. And First John, well, actually, first off here, it's that people who are denying Yahawashi. All right. Let's see, where is it? And also, yeah, here there are multiple antichrists. All right, as it says in 1 John 2 and 18. Now, 1 John 4 and 3, and every spirit that confesseth that, 1 John 4 and 3, and every spirit that confesseth not that Yahawashi Mashiach is come in the flesh is not of Yahweh. Oh, well, this is actually kind of irrelevant, so it's fine. So yeah, finally, John 7:24. Judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Basically, we're not allowed to be determining, oh, this person not a brother or Israel or whatever, because they don't look white, they don't look like this, they don't look like that, or whatever. That is literally it. The scriptures literally tell us not to look at appearance. So you're just completely wrong. You're just objectively wrong, and the proper men of the Lord are supposed to follow what the scriptures say, and as a result we at the bare minimum we try to do so. We have many brothers have already said plenty of times enough that if an Edomite looking person, someone that looks like an Edomite, can still be an Israelite if their bloodline from their father's side goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, so that is what determines it. It is not about, oh, if you look like a white person, you're not allowed to congregate with us. No, that's not how things go. Do some people do that? Yes, absolutely. Does that mean that you can put us all in one blanket thing? Well, by that logic, then we can put you all in under one blanket as well. All right, but then we know you're not gonna like that. All right, so that's why do your own research, do your own studying. All right. Anyway, so with that, I pray this system was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashi, Hashem, Rakwakwadah, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, abad ball, and shalom.